What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today I want to have a discussion video and I'm leading it with the question asking, is consumer confidence getting better or is gamer confidence getting better in regard to Gotham Knights? Since the developer Q&A, I have to say from personal experience, from seeing some of the comments here on this channel, it seems like some people have now regained a little bit of interest in Gotham Knights. I think this is as a result of the developers being able to clarify on a lot of things that have been vague for a while. Now, in the past few days, I've actually made a few videos where we've explored some things regarding combat, and I think these are some of the things that really did sway some people in regarding to taking a second look at the game. I'm not saying that it swayed them to buy the game. That's a very big assumption, but at least some people are saying, okay, if this is what this game seems to be about, I think I'm interested to hear more, because for the longest time, some people weren't having it. Some of the gamers in our community were like, nope, this game doesn't seem to me like anything I want to invest my time in, but now I think these positions are changing slightly. But in the comment section, I'd like for you to basically inform me on where you stand after this video. Tell me, do you think you're actually gaining more and more confidence towards the game, or do you think you're not yet convinced? So let's hop into this video and let's look at a few more systems that were better clarified regarding Gotham Knights. So one thing that was actually very well versed was a lot of the story and plot aspects. They talked about the GCPD being in a position where they're actually, in a sense, some kind of a faction against the Knights. They're not necessarily pro-vigilante, and this was expounded upon very well by the creative director Patrick Redding. Now, Patrick Redding also alluded to the fact that even as the Knights are not necessarily in good terms with the GCPD, they have allies within this particular department. I think Renee Montoya is the main ally. We don't know if we're going to be seeing any other detectives. That's a big name detective that's going to be coming to the aid of the Knights. Also, he mentioned that the police force would also have some variation in the sense where you could be in a position to help police officers. Now, this provides an entire expansion of gameplay in terms of how players will react and interact with the open world. So that's where I see these things coming into place. There might be missions where there are bank robberies, police officers are probably in a bind, and you as a Gotham Knight, you can go in and save the situation. So this really does bring to mind, for those who are wondering what activities are going to be on in the open world, how are they going to be presented, this brings their minds to rest. Patrick Redding also mentioned a few things about how the side missions will look. Some people asked in the Q&A, are some of these side missions going to be in a position where they have some consequences, where if maybe something is going on, you have a timer to respond, and if you don't respond, what happens? And he mentioned the fact that many of these so-called side missions are going to be having different kinds of fail conditions attached to them. So if you don't respond, then it appears that those side missions may fail, and once you return back to the Belfry, those missions are most likely not going to be there when you return. So I think it's going to be some kind of an activity generator that's happening in the open world, where whenever you're around the open world, maybe you're going for a mission, there will be something on the side that can catch your attention. Some of you remember that in Arkham Origins, there was actually something like this. The police radio would radio in a crime or an activity that was illegal going on, and you, as Batman, could decide whether or not you wanted to interact with those, and those provided some rewards in terms of XP and in terms of some more possibilities to unlock things in your skill tree. So I think this is probably going to take the shape of that in a very interesting way, so we're looking forward to what that's about. Now, moving on to traversal. This has actually been a very interesting topic because for the longest time, we've looked at the traversal in different aspects. In fact, the biggest culprit of them is Red Hood's Mystical Leap. And so the developers were asked about this Mystical Leap. Now, I've made a video regarding this where we explored potential comic origins for this. And many of you here in the community, you actually provided a lot of data surrounding this. Now, Red Hood has been known to actually roll with some outlaws that have taught him some mystical abilities. Now, with this, I think the developers, according to them, they said they wanted to basically progress where Red Hood could have some of these abilities being manifest in a cool way or in their own unique way, and they're using it as a way for him to traverse around the world. Now, one really interesting thing too is I actually like this particular Mystic Leap, but a lot of people in the community have basically ragged on it. Now, here's something interesting. Someone here in our community called that particular notion out and said it was hypocritical. And I asked them why. They said, well, look at the Suicide Squad gameplay reveal. You saw Captain Boomerang basically air hopping from spot to spot, and almost no one in the community criticized it. And they thought that that was hypocritical because I don't know, or I don't know if they know, if Captain Boomerang is capable of doing this. So if anyone in the comment section has seen Captain Boomerang hop from spot to spot in a comic or in an animated series, please feel free to let us know in the comment section. But I think that's actually a very interesting indication that our audience member put out for everyone. So if there's anyone more likely to be able to hop using some kind of a mystical ability, when you actually compare Captain Boomerang or even Red Hood, I think we have some sort of a canonical relationship, not necessarily a direct adaptation for Red Hood to be able to use mystical abilities to do some really cool stuff. But nonetheless, the developers actually also talked about grappling. They talked about parkour being available for the knights to be able to use to run around the world. So that's also very interesting. We need to see how that looks in order for us to be able to determine if it's a system that we all kind of love or maybe not necessarily appreciate too much. I can't see any reason why a parkour system will not be appreciated nonetheless. In regard to Nightwing and his paraglider, they already mentioned that it was a comic inspired device that they decided to use the smallest version of. I've made a video where we actually also showed the exact comic edition, or one of the comic editions, where you can actually see Nightwing using a mechanical based paraglider, one that actually has a GPS attached to it for navigation and able to track him, and he can pretty much just attach to it and then make his way to a destination whenever he pleases. The more interesting and intricate knight and their traversal was Robin. Now, Robin uses this Justice League teleportation system, and Jeff Eleanor was quick to point out that with his movements, you can basically just snap to a place and just have Robin just drop in that location. And he said it was a very fast system and it seemed really fluid, and he thought players were going to enjoy it. There is, however, something that is missing in this entire equation, and that's game feel. I think at the end of the day, until we feel the way these traversal actions actually play in the game and maybe interact with your controllers, maybe if you're getting haptic feedback from some of the actions, or maybe you're getting your controller vibrations and all of the above, maybe sound effects and all, it's really hard for you to be able to wrap your mind around it without having the experience. And this is where I think the challenge is for most gamers that are asking these questions. But all in all, with the plot lines, progression indications that the developers have given, and even more clarity on the traversal system, I wonder how you, as a potential Gotham Knights gamer, starting to feel about the game. Do you think this is raising confidence level? Do you think more details need to be made available, like another Q&A or even another gameplay demo showcasing a little bit more regarding combat, abilities, and how you can actually make your traversal systems get better as you progress through the game? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I appreciate you guys so much for watching the video. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll talk very soon. Peace out.